Fact 1. The human brain consumes about 20% of the body's total energy. Despite representing only 2% of body weight, its energy expenditure is enormous. This demand is due to constant neuronal activity. Thinking, remembering, and feeling require continuous energy. The mind never fully rests. Fact 2. Human memory doesn't work like a video camera. Instead of recording, it reconstructs memories each time they are recalled. This introduces errors and distortions. The brain mixes imagination with real experience. Remembering is reinterpreting the past. Fact 3. The subconscious mind processes information faster than the conscious mind. Many decisions are made automatically, before logic intervenes. This includes emotional reactions and initial judgments. The unconscious mind is a hidden engine. Influencing it changes behavior. Fact 4. The brain can generate physical pain through imagination alone. Thinking about a painful experience activates the same areas as actual pain. The mind doesn't fully distinguish between memory and physical impact. This phenomenon explains somatization. Imagination affects the body. Fact 5. Multitasking reduces cognitive efficiency. The brain can't fully focus on two complex tasks at once. Instead of splitting focus, it rapidly switches focus. This leads to errors and slowness. The mind works best when it's single-mindedly focused. Fact 6. Emotions influence memory more than neutral events. Emotional situations are remembered more strongly. The brain reinforces emotional relevance in long-term memory. This explains why painful or happy memories are vivid. The heart guides the mind. Fact 7. The human brain generates more than 60,000 thoughts a day. Most are repetitive. This tendency shows how the mind recycles patterns. Changing thoughts requires conscious effort. Repetition shapes our perception of reality. Fact 8. Sleep is essential for consolidating memories. During rest, the brain organizes acquired information. Important information is stored and irrelevant information is discarded. A good night's sleep improves learning. The mind works while the body rests. Fact 9. The placebo effect demonstrates the power of the mind over the body. Believing in a cure can trigger real healing processes. The brain releases beneficial chemicals when it believes in the treatment. Belief influences biology. Thinking heals as much as acting. Fact 10. The human mind has cognitive biases that distort reality. These mental shortcuts save energy, but they generate errors. For example, confirmation bias causes us to seek evidence that supports our beliefs. Biases guide decisions without us even realizing it. Fact 11. Creativity arises from the connection between different brain areas. The mind combines previous information in new ways. This requires both knowledge and imagination. Innovation is a product of the intersection of neural networks. To create is to reorganize what exists. Fact 12. The human mind tends to avoid uncertainty. The brain prefers clear bad news to doubt. This is due to the evolutionary need for certainty. Ambiguity triggers anxiety. Knowing is more soothing than ignoring. Fact 13. The unconscious mind controls 95% of our daily actions. Habits, reflexes, and automatic decisions dominate life. The conscious mind supervises, but rarely directs. Changing your life requires reprogramming your subconscious. Fact 14. Dopamine drives motivation more than the reward itself. The brain is more activated by anticipation than by achievement. That's why desire can be stronger than satisfaction. The mind chases the promise of pleasure. Fact 15. The human brain can create false memories. With enough suggestion, A person can remember something that never happened. The plasticity of memory makes it vulnerable. This has legal and psychological implications. The mind fabricates realities. Fact 16. Chronic stress shrinks the hippocampus, a key area for memory. This impairs learning and concentration. Excess cortisol damages neurons. The mind needs calm to function at its best. Tranquility is brain food. Fact 17. The mind tends to focus on the negative more than the positive. This negativity bias is a survival mechanism. Remembering dangers helped our ancestors. Today, it causes anxiety and excessive worry. Bad things weigh more heavily on the memory. Fact 18. The brain responds to mental images as if they were real. Visualizing success activates the same areas as achieving it. That's why visualization is used in sports psychology. Imagining prepares the body for action. The mind trains with imagination. Fact 19. Boredom can stimulate creativity. When the mind isn't engaged, it seeks new connections. This generates unexpected ideas. Mental emptiness is the seed of innovation. Being bored is sometimes useful. Fact 20. The human mind can be trained to change its structure. Neuroplasticity allows for the creation of new neural connections. Learning or practicing something physically alters the brain. The mind isn't fixed, it's malleable. Changing thoughts changes the brain. Fact 21. The mind remembers the first and last items in a list best. This phenomenon is called the primacy-recency effect. The brain prioritizes the most recent and the first items. Information in the middle is more easily forgotten. Memory has natural hierarchies. Fact 22. The brain processes negative words faster than positive ones. This is due to the survival instinct. Detecting threats was vital in evolution. Today, criticism has more impact than praise. Negative words leave a deeper mark. Fact 23. The mind can get used to almost any situation. This process is called hedonic adaptation. Both pleasure and pain tend to stabilize over time. Happiness doesn't depend solely on external circumstances. The mind adjusts to new things. Fact 24. Meditation changes brain structure. It increases the density of gray matter in areas related to attention and memory. It also reduces the size of the amygdala, which is associated with stress. The mind is transformed by the habit of meditation. Fact 25. The brain doesn't fully distinguish between real and simulated experiences. Watching a horror movie can trigger the same responses as real danger. The mind reacts with fear, even knowing it's fictional. Perception trumps logic. Fact 26. Laughter activates multiple brain regions at once. It includes areas of language, emotion, and movement. That's why laughter has therapeutic effects. The mind releases endorphins when it does. Humor is brain medicine. Fact 27. The human brain develops until approximately age 25. The prefrontal cortex, responsible for planning and self-control, is the last to mature. This explains youthful impulsiveness. The mind takes decades to complete. Fact 28. The mind tends to overestimate what others think of us. This bias is called the spotlight effect. The brain thinks we're being watched more than we actually are. This creates unnecessary social anxiety. No one is looking at us as much as we think they are. Fact 29. Music directly influences mood. Listening to happy or sad melodies activates the same areas as real emotions. The brain interprets sounds as emotional experiences. Music is the language of the mind. Fact 30. Learning strengthens neural connections with repetition. Each practice strengthens synapses. The mind works like a muscle. The more it's exercised, the more it grows. Repetition is key to memory. Fact 31. The brain produces different waves depending on the state of mind. Alpha for relaxation, beta for concentration, theta for creativity, and delta for deep sleep. The mind changes its rhythm like an orchestra. Each state has its own electrical frequency. Fact 32. The unconscious mind processes millions of pieces of information per second. The conscious mind only handles between 40 and 60. This shows how limited attention span is. The brain filters out irrelevant information to avoid overload. The hidden mind handles more than the visible. Fact 33. Repetitive thoughts shape brain structure. The habit of worrying strengthens anxiety circuits. Practicing gratitude reinforces well-being circuits. The mind is programmed by what it repeats. Thinking is sculpting the brain. Fact 34. The human brain can deceive itself. Cognitive dissonance leads to justifying bad decisions. The mind invents explanations to reduce discomfort. This self-deception is a psychological defense mechanism. Fact 35. The mind has a limited capacity for sustained attention. On average, it only maintains full concentration for 20 minutes. After that, performance declines. Breaks are essential for learning. Attention is not infinite. Fact 36. The brain creates patterns even where none exist. This phenomenon is called pareidolia. Seeing faces in clouds or figures in shadows is an example of this. The mind seeks order in chaos. Detecting shapes was an evolutionary advantage. Fact 37. The mind processes images faster than words. The visual brain is dominant. We remember what we see better than what we read. That's why graphics are more effective than long texts. The mind thinks in images. Fact 38. Moderate stress can improve performance. It triggers the release of adrenaline and improves attentional focus. But excessive stress impairs memory and concentration. Balance determines whether stress helps or harms. The mind needs just the right amount of pressure. Fact 39. The mind tends to remember emotional experiences more than objective data. We remember how they made us feel more than the exact facts. This is due to the link between emotion and memory. The heart is memory's guide. Fact 40. The brain never stops creating new neurons. This process is called neurogenesis. It occurs primarily in the hippocampus, which is involved in memory and learning. The mind maintains its capacity to renew itself even into adulthood. Fact 41. The human mind exaggerates the future in its imagination. When anticipating problems, the brain perceives them as larger than they actually are. This is due to projection bias. Anxiety stems from mental scenarios, not realities. Thinking magnifies what we fear. Fact 42. The hippocampus is key to forming new memories. When it's damaged, people can't store recent experiences. Long-term memory is retained, but new memories are lost. A mind without a hippocampus is stuck in the past. Fact 43. The brain intentionally forgets unnecessary information. Forgetting is an active function, not a mistake. This prevents mental overload. Remembering everything would be detrimental to attention. Forgetting is part of intelligence. Fact 44. The mind responds more to failure than to success. The pain of losing is felt more intensely than the joy of winning. This phenomenon is called loss aversion. The brain prioritizes risk avoidance. Negativity outweighs positivity. Fact 45. The mind is capable of entering flow states. In this state, time seems to disappear and concentration is total. It occurs when performing challenging but manageable tasks. The brain releases dopamine and endorphins in this state. Flow is the ultimate mental efficiency. Fact 46. 70% of daily human thoughts are negative or repetitive. The brain focuses on what could go wrong. This has evolutionary roots in survival. Uncontrolled, it produces anxiety. The mind is programmed by what it repeats. Fact 47. The unconscious mind influences economic decisions. Advertising uses this principle. Colors, smells, and sounds affect choices without us even noticing. Consumption is guided more by emotions than logic. Fact 48. The human brain takes 13 milliseconds to process an image. The visual mind is extremely fast. Long before we are consciously aware of it, we have already interpreted the scene. Perception precedes rational thought. Fact 49. Critical thinking requires more energy than automatic thinking. The brain prefers to conserve resources with quick responses. Deep analysis is more costly for the mind. That's why we tend to use mental shortcuts or heuristics. Fact 50. The mind tends to remember failures more than achievements. This reinforces self-criticism and learning. Evolutionarily, remembering mistakes helped us survive. Today, it can lead to low self-esteem. Mistakes weigh more than successes. Fact 51. The prefrontal cortex regulates emotional impulses. Without it, the mind would act uncontrollably. It's the area that allows us to plan, reflect, and curb impulsiveness. It's the center of reason versus instinct. Fact 52. The human mind processes stories better than loose data. Stories activate more brain areas, including emotion and memory. That's why we remember narratives easily. Storytelling is a natural form of learning. Fact 53. The brain interprets social rejection as physical pain. The same areas are activated in both cases. That's why being excluded hurts so much. The mind interprets isolation as a life-threatening situation. Fact 54. The conscious mind can only retain between 5 and 9 items at a time. This limit is known as working memory. Beyond that, attention collapses. That's why we use techniques like information clustering. Fact 55. The human brain is never completely silent. Even at rest, it activates the default mode network. This network is responsible for daydreaming, imagining, and reflecting. The mind is always generating internal activity. Fact 56. Emotional learning leaves deeper marks than intellectual learning. Experiences linked to emotions are more memorable. The brain prioritizes what impacts the heart. Emotions cement memory. Fact 57. Ruminating increases the risk of depression. Repeating the same problems constantly activates the amygdala. The mind becomes trapped in a negative cycle. Breaking it requires conscious attention. Fact 58. The human mind tends to look for patterns even in randomness. This generates superstitions and irrational beliefs. The brain prefers a false connection to accepting randomness. The need for order guides perception. Fact 59. Optimism prolongs life. Positive thinking reduces cortisol levels. This protects the immune and cardiovascular systems. The mind directly influences physical health. Fact 60. The human brain has about 86 billion neurons. Each one can connect with thousands more. This generates trillions of possible connections. The mind is the most complex network known. Fact 61. The brain adapts to experiences through synaptic plasticity. Each learning experience modifies neural connections. This ability persists throughout life. The mind is flexible and never stops changing. Fact 62. The mind remembers the unusual better than the routine. Strange or unexpected events are more strongly remembered. This is due to the novelty effect. The brain values what is different as more important. Surprise strengthens memory. Fact 63. The brain spends more energy thinking than moving the body. Although we don't realize it, mental activity is very costly. The mind is a glucose-hungry organ. That's why intense thinking is physically exhausting. Fact 64. The brain takes longer to process new words than familiar ones. Familiarity speeds understanding. This explains why reading complex text is slower. The mind learns through repetition and exposure. Fact 65. The mind can change its perception of reality with simple expectations. This phenomenon is called the Pygmalion effect. Believing in an outcome increases the likelihood of its occurrence. Expectation shapes experience. Fact 66. The brain responds more to moving images than to static ones. Evolution prioritized detecting moving danger. This explains why videos attract more attention than photos today. Motion dominates perception. Fact 67. The human mind is wired for socialization. Prolonged isolation affects mental and physical health. The brain needs interaction to stay healthy. We are social beings by nature. Fact 68. It takes the brain just 0.2 seconds to recognize an emotion on another person's face. This speed is instinctive. Detecting other people's feelings was vital for survival. The mind is adept at reading expressions. Fact 69. Memory can be strengthened with physical exercise. Movement increases blood flow to the brain. This promotes neurogenesis in the hippocampus. Physical activity improves the mind. Fact 70. The human brain stores memories with a multisensory component. A smell, a sound, or an image can revive an experience. This happens because memory is stored in multiple areas. The mind remembers in layers of sensations. Fact 71. The mind interprets time subjectively. In pleasant situations, it seems to pass quickly. In moments of boredom or pain, it drags on. The brain measures time with emotions, not with clocks. Fact 72. The human mind tends to underestimate its own achievements and overvalue those of others. This phenomenon is called social comparison. The brain constantly seeks to measure success against others. This fuels insecurity and envy. Fact 73. REM sleep is crucial for processing emotions. During this phase, the brain organizes emotional experiences. Poor sleep interferes with emotional stability. The mind needs dreaming to heal. Fact 74. The brain produces dopamine when it anticipates a reward, not just when it receives it. Expectation is more powerful than achievement. The mind is more motivated by what's coming than by what it has. Fact 75. The human mind learns most easily in childhood. The young brain is highly plastic. In adulthood, learning requires more effort. However, the capacity for change is never lost. Fact 76. Short-term memory lasts between 15 and 30 seconds without repetition. To retain information longer, it's necessary to review it. The brain quickly forgets what it doesn't consider vital. Repetition is the bridge to long-term memory. Fact 77. Fear is one of the brain's fastest acting emotions. When faced with a threatening stimulus, the amygdala responds before reason. This ensures survival. The mind reacts before thinking. Fact 78. The conscious mind processes information in a linear fashion. The unconscious mind processes it in parallel. That's why we can solve problems suddenly. The answer emerges from the unconscious workings. Intuition is accelerated logic. Fact 79. Shared laughter strengthens social bonds. The brain releases endorphins that boost confidence. The mind uses humor as social glue. Laughter unites as much as talking. Fact 80. The brain can create physical sensations simply by imagining them. Visualizing exercise activates muscles on an electrical level. The mind has power over the body. Imagination is a form of real training. Fact 81. The brain processes visual information better accompanied by emotions. An emotional image is remembered more than a neutral one. This is due to the interaction between the amygdala and the hippocampus. Emotion is the glue of memory. Fact 82. The mind tends to fill in information gaps with assumptions. This phenomenon is called cognitive closure. The brain prefers to invent rather than accept incompleteness. This generates rumors and false beliefs. Fact 83. The brain responds more to variable rewards than to fixed ones. This principle explains gambling addiction. The mind releases more dopamine when the reward is uncertain. Surprise enhances motivation. Fact 84. The human brain has a natural preference for social recognition. Approval activates the reward system. Being accepted produces pleasure similar to receiving money. The mind seeks belonging as a basic need. Fact 85. Autobiographical memory becomes less accurate over time. The brain reconstructs stories with errors. However, it retains the emotional essence. We remember how we felt more than the exact facts. Emotion prevails over accuracy. Fact 86. The brain can experience synesthesia in some people. This phenomenon blends senses, such as seeing colors when listening to music. The mind connects sensory areas in unusual ways. Perception becomes more complex and unique. Fact 87. The human mind best interprets information organized in patterns. Lists, categories, and structures facilitate recall. The brain seeks order to understand. Chaos is harder to process. Fact 88. Selective forgetting protects mental health. The brain blocks traumatic memories as a defense. This prevents emotional overload. The mind prioritizes stability over accuracy. Fact 89. The brain reacts most intensely to first impressions. Changing that initial perception requires great effort. The mind quickly fixes judgments to save energy. First impressions leave a lasting mark. Fact 90. The mind can learn while sleeping under certain conditions. Listening to sounds or languages during light sleep aids memory. The brain continues to process external stimuli. Sleep also educates. Fact 91. The human brain is capable of recognizing faces more efficiently than any other object. This specialization is due to social evolution. The brain has a specific area for this purpose, the fusiform gyrus. Fact 92. The eye. Mind responds better to immediate rewards than to distant ones. This bias is called temporal discounting. The brain prefers quick, even if it's lesser, pleasure. Patience requires prefrontal self-control. Fact 93. The mirror effect causes people to unconsciously imitate gestures and postures. The brain uses mirror neurons to generate empathy. This synchronicity strengthens social bonds. Fact 94. The brain processes negative news and media more quickly. This is due to the danger bias. The mind prioritizes what can be harmful. That's why negative things sell more. Fact 95. The mind can improve its performance with the practice of gratitude. Thinking about positive thoughts activates feel-good pathways. The brain strengthens these pathways with repetition. Gratitude changes mental chemistry. Fact 96. The aging brain maintains its plasticity if stimulated. Learning languages, playing, music, or solving problems keeps it active. The mind renews itself with constant challenges. It's never too late to exercise it. Fact 97. The conscious mind can't focus on more than one thing at a time. What we call multitasking is actually rapid focus switching. This tires the brain and reduces the quality of work. Fact 98. The Zeigarnik effect explains why we remember unfinished tasks more than completed ones. The brain keeps pending activities open. The mind hates unfinished business. Fact 99. Creativity increases when the mind is relaxed. Showering or walking generates moments of inspiration. The brain connects ideas when it's not forced. Relaxation stimulates ingenuity. Fact 100. The mind responds to laughter even when it's fake. Smiling activates facial muscles that send signals to the brain. This triggers the release of endorphins. Faking it can lead to feeling. Fact 101. The human brain can process a complete image in just 13 milliseconds. This speed exceeds any verbal processing. The visual mind is the fastest. Seeing precedes thinking. Fact 102. The mind tends to seek meaning in chaos. This impulse is called apophenia. The brain connects dots even when there's no real connection. This generates beliefs in coincidences and conspiracies. Fact 103. The brain adapts to technology as if it were an extension of the body. Using a cell phone activates areas similar to those using physical tools. The mind integrates the machine as part of itself. Fact 104. The mind suffers from analysis paralysis when there are too many options. Too many choices block decisions. The brain works best with limited alternatives. Less is more in decision-making. Fact 105. The brain releases oxytocin when we trust someone. This hormone reinforces empathy and cooperation. The mind rewards mutual trust. Without it, the social bond weakens. Fact 106. The mind remembers more of what it studies before sleeping. Sleep consolidates newly acquired information. Reviewing before bed improves learning. Sleep is part of studying. Fact 107. The brain reacts with stress to visual clutter. Chaotic spaces increase cognitive load. The mind prefers organized environments to perform better. An orderly exterior calms the interior. Fact 108. The mind is most creative during off-peak hours. Being tired or distracted facilitates original ideas. A relaxed brain connects unexpected elements. Mental clutter fuels innovation. Fact 109. The brain can experience déjà vu due to a temporary memory lapse. A new experience is mistaken for a memory. The mind interprets the unfamiliar as familiar. Fact 110. The mind remembers best with emotional associations. A simple fact is forgotten, but if it's linked to an emotion, it's retained. The brain learns through feelings. Fact 111. Positive thinking improves academic and work performance. Confidence activates areas of motivation and creativity. Believing in yourself changes brain chemistry. Fact 112. The human mind is capable of experiencing alternate realities through lucid dreams. In these, the person is aware that they are dreaming. The brain creates worlds as vivid as waking life. Fact 113. Multisensory learning strengthens memory. Combining images, sounds, and movement anchors information better. The brain stores more when it receives varied stimuli. Fact 114. The brain responds to virtual rejection just like it does to physical rejection. Being ignored on social media triggers the same pain areas. The mind doesn't distinguish between digital and real-life interactions. Fact 115. The mind generates biases based on early experiences. Experiences in childhood shape adult perception. The brain uses these patterns as permanent filters. Fact 116. Prolonged stress reduces creativity. Excess cortisol blocks the frontal lobe. The mind under pressure loses flexibility. Calmness favors innovation. Fact 117. The brain initially interprets metaphors literally. Reading, "He has a heart of stone," activates areas associated with toughness. The brain then translates the figurative meaning. Fact 118. The mind can be trained. With neurofeedback, by receiving brainwave feedback, a person learns to regulate their concentration and calmness. The brain becomes more self-aware. Fact 119. The halo effect causes a positive trait to influence someone's overall perception. If we see someone as attractive, we believe they're also more intelligent or kind. The mind uses shortcuts to judge. Fact 120. The brain interprets new experiences as lasting longer. That's why travel seems to extend the day. Routine, on the other hand, makes time fly by. Novelty expands our perception of time. Fact 121. The brain is capable of erasing emotionally painful information over time. This process is called memory. Extinction. It doesn't erase the memory, but it reduces its emotional impact. The mind protects itself by softening the pain. Fact 122. The mind processes handwritten information better than that of a keyboard. Writing activates more brain areas related to memory and comprehension. Taking notes by hand improves learning. Fact 123. The brain responds differently to color. Red triggers alertness and energy, blue calms, and green conveys balance. The mind associates colors with unconscious emotions. Fact 124. The mind underestimates the influence of the environment on behavior. We think we make free choices, but the environment determines many of our actions. The brain responds to invisible contextual cues. Fact 125. Curiosity activates the brain's reward system. The desire to learn releases dopamine. The mind is more motivated by intrigue than by compulsion. Fact 126. The brain responds to music even before birth. Fetuses as young as a few weeks old already react to melodies. The human mind has a biological connection to sound. Fact 127. The mind can suffer from optical illusions because the brain prioritizes speed over accuracy. It quickly interprets the image even if it's wrong. Perception is a construction, not a faithful copy. Fact 128. The human brain can be trained to reduce pain with mental techniques. Meditation and mindfulness decrease activation in areas related to suffering. The mind controls physical sensation. Fact 129. The mind is more likely to remember insults than compliments. Negativity bias reinforces the painful. The brain prioritizes social threats over praise. Fact 130. The brain needs to dream to stay healthy. Dreams organize memories, emotions, and learning. Lack of REM sleep disrupts cognition. The mind dreams to survive. Fact 131. The mind can experience false collective memories. This phenomenon is called the Mandela effect. Several people remember the same thing even though it never happened. The brain is vulnerable to group suggestion. Fact 132. The brain uses 100% of its areas, but not at the same time. The 10% myth is false. Each region activates according to activity. The mind works like a networked system. Fact 133. The mind tends to overvalue what's recent over what's old. This bias is called the recency effect. The most recent things we hear weigh more heavily in our decisions. Fact 134. The brain responds to humor as a complex cognitive exercise. Understanding a joke activates language, memory, and reward areas. Laughter requires great mental capacity. Fact 135. The mind responds with pleasure to helping others. Altruism activates the same areas as receiving money or food. The brain rewards social cooperation. Fact 136. The brain can perceive danger even in complete silence. The absence of stimuli triggers alertness. The mind interprets emptiness as a potential threat. Fact 137. The placebo effect also works on the emotional mind. Believing someone is supporting us reduces stress even if it isn't real. The expectation of help calms the brain. Fact 138. The mind processes love and addiction in the same areas. Both experiences release dopamine in the reward system. That's why love can be as obsessive as a drug. Fact 139. The brain automatically responds to smiling faces. Even an emoji activates empathy areas. The mind is hardwired to recognize signs of friendship. Fact 140. The unconscious mind influences body language. Many postures and gestures reveal internal thoughts. The brain controls movements without conscious intervention. Fact 141. The human brain learns faster with small, consistent rewards than with a single large one. Dopamine responds better to repetition. The mind is motivated by frequent stimuli. Fact 142. The mind interprets physical contact as a sign of trust. A handshake activates brain areas associated with cooperation. The brain responds to touch as a social bond. Fact 143. Moderate stress before an exam can improve performance. Adrenaline increases attention, but excessive stress can impair memory. The mind needs balance to function. Fact 144. The brain processes irony with more effort than literal language. Understanding sarcasm activates several areas at once. The mind must detect contradictions between words and tone. Fact 145. The mind is more productive in natural spaces. Seeing plants or green landscapes reduces stress and increases concentration. The brain responds positively to nature. Fact 146. The brain learns more from active practice than from passive practice. Solving problems reinforces more than reading theory. The mind retains better when it's engaged. Fact 147. The mind can enter altered states without drugs. Hypnosis, meditation, or deep breathing change brain activity. The brain adjusts its perception of reality. Fact 148. The Barnum effect explains why people believe in horoscopes. The brain interprets vague statements as personal. The mind seeks to fit information into its identity. Fact 149. The human brain processes language with the left hemisphere in most people. However, the right hemisphere also plays a role in intonation and context. The mind divides functions. Fact 150. The mind often underestimates how long a task will take. This bias is called the planning fallacy. The brain projects optimism and miscalculates. Fact 151. The brain responds to the sound of its own name even amid loud noise. This response demonstrates the selectivity of attention. The mind prioritizes identity-relevant cues. Fact 152. Emotional. Learning is more durable than rational learning. A lesson linked to fear or joy sticks more. The brain uses emotion as a marker of importance. Fact 153. The human mind has a natural preference for symmetry. Symmetrical faces are perceived as more attractive. The brain associates symmetry with health and favorable genetics. Fact 154. The poor brain responds with greater effort to lies than to the truth. Pretending requires controlling emotions and words. The mind works harder when it deceives. Fact 155. The human mind interprets pauses in conversation as emotional signals. Silence can express more than words. The brain detects meaning even in the absence of sound. Fact 156. The brain can't generate new faces in dreams. It only dreams of faces it's seen before, even if it doesn't remember them. The mind recycles what it perceives. Fact 157. The mind suffers from anchoring bias in decisions. The first number or piece of information received influences subsequent choices. The brain establishes an initial reference point. Fact 158. The brain can be trained with video games. Some improve attention, spatial memory, and decision-making. The mind adapts to new interactive stimuli. Fact 159. The brain responds to the pain of others as if it were its own. This is due to mirror neurons. Empathy is an automatic neurological reflex. Fact 160. The mind prefers to remember the positive aspects of past relationships over time. The brain softens painful memories. This allows us to move forward emotionally. Fact 161. The human brain can process words faster when reading aloud. Auditory activation strengthens comprehension. The mind learns best with multiple senses at Fact 162. The mind experiences more pleasure anticipating a vacation than actually experiencing it. The brain releases dopamine when imagining it. Expectation trumps actual experience. Fact 163. The brain responds to fear in just 0.05 seconds. The amygdala activates before the brain processes the stimulus. The mind reacts faster than it thinks. Fact 164. The mind tends to follow the majority. The social conformity effect activates reward-related areas. The brain interprets belonging as security. Fact 165. Memory is strengthened by teaching others. Explaining forces the brain to organize information. The mind learns more from teaching than from studying alone. Fact 166. The brain processes information best in short chunks. That's why we remember short lists, not long ones. The mind retains information in blocks or chunks. Fact 167. The human mind tends to justify decisions after they're made. This reduces cognitive dissonance. The brain prefers consistency, even if it's false. Fact 168. The brain responds with pleasure to hearing its own recorded voice less than expected. This is due to the difference between how it sounds internally and externally. The mind is surprised by its own sound. Fact 169. The mind processes social experiences as if they were life-sustaining. Being excluded activates the same areas as physical pain. The brain interprets rejection as a threat to survival. Fact 170. The brain can be trained to change emotions. Cognitive behavioral therapy modifies neural patterns. The mind learns to interpret the same situation differently. Fact 171. The mind best remembers experiences that involve smells. The olfactory bulb connects directly with memory and emotion. A scent revives forgotten memories. Fact 172. The brain processes beauty as a reward. Seeing something attractive releases dopamine. The mind treats aesthetics as biological pleasure. Fact 173. The mind can suffer from availability bias. We remember more recent or impactful things, not what's most frequently seen. The brain is guided by what's easy to recall. Fact 174. The human brain can learn to control prosthetics as if they were part of the body. Neuroplasticity integrates external objects. The mind expands its body map. Fact 175. The mind remembers visuals more than auditory ones. An image is retained more strongly than a word. The brain prioritizes what it sees. Fact 176. The brain responds to novelty with dopamine. New experiences generate motivation and curiosity. The mind seeks out the unknown as stimulation. Fact 177. The human mind tends to exaggerate the importance of recent events. This bias is called the recency effect. Recent experiences weigh more heavily than past experiences in decisions. Fact 178. The brain interprets information better when accompanied by metaphors. These activate sensory areas in addition to language. The mind understands abstract things with concrete images. Fact 179. The unconscious mind influences dreams. It often resolves unresolved problems during the day. The brain uses dreams as a laboratory for solutions. Fact 180. The human brain combines emotion and reason in every decision. No choice is purely logical. The mind always mixes feelings and analysis.